Indigenous leaders are railing against aspects of the new national school curriculum, as we've discussed before. A number of changes are in the works. Classes on free speech and religious belief have been replaced with lessons brainwashing young children into becoming mini political activists, even on climate, as we saw the other day. References to Christianity have been removed and critical race theory gets a run, where people are divided by the colour of their skin. There are calls to replace an Aboriginal advisory body that has significant influence on what your children are going to be learning in the classroom. The group includes academics who believe we're all racist and Australia was founded on white supremacy. One advisory group member wants schools to acknowledge Invasion Day. Let's inject some common sense into this debate. Senate candidate for the Northern Territory CLP, Jacinta Price, joins me from Alice Springs. Thanks for joining us, Jacinta. First up, congratulations on that Senate win. It's a tough task to knock off a sitting senator, but you must be so excited about what lays ahead.
I'm extremely grateful, very excited about the idea of being able to get into Canberra and ensure that we're fighting for common sense, practical policies and solutions facing Australians, and particularly our most marginalised Indigenous Australians. I'm really looking forward to the job ahead.
Yeah, great stuff. Congratulations again. But this issue is exactly the sort of issue where you're going to bring a powerful and a common sense approach, isn't it? Because you don't want Australian kids brought up with what has come to be known as a black armband view of our history.
No, that's right. This is postmodern ideology being pushed by the Education Union. This has nothing to do with providing our kids with facts and evidence, and teaching them history, the history of our nation, with facts and evidence. This is the romanticising of Aboriginal culture, what's occurred in terms of our history, by individuals who have never actually lived by the culture themselves to completely understand. And the romanticism is very, very dangerous. I mean, we've seen it with Dark Emu, and because there has been such a gap there, this is what these individuals are trying to fill that gap. And we don't need critical race theory. This is what it is. This is what they're trying to push through. It's critical race theory. It doesn't belong in our schools. Our children should not be indoctrinated into ideology. They just need to be taught history, about culture when it comes, but with facts, truth, and evidence, instead of being lied to. As far as I'm concerned, lying to our kids in this way is criminal.
Well, I mean, Dark Emu, you mentioned that's a children's version of that is going into the classrooms. This is the problem. See, we all understand how history can be falsified, and so we all understand how shamefully a lot of Indigenous history was whitewashed out of this nation's history previously. Now, of course, that needs to be rectified, but with Dark Emu, you're going the other way. We're putting a false Indigenous history into our curriculum.
That's right. You can't rectify what's occurred previously by shoving lies in there and ideology. It's not how it works. It's actually doing more damage. It's utterly disrespectful to those, those pioneers, both Indigenous and non-Indigenous, from our nation's history, as well as it's very it's insulting to Indigenous Australians to think that our children are going to be taught falsities when we very well know. I mean, it should have been people should have been consulted who come from parts of the country where they still live by traditional Aboriginal culture. And what we've seen over the years is obviously an increase of people identifying as Indigenous. We're seeing, these people go through the universities where the left ideology, they're being indoctrinated by this ideology, by critical race theory influenced by the US, and they're coming out the other end and making these sorts of proposals in terms of our curriculum. It's not on, as far as I'm concerned. And, if I get into Canberra come, this time next year, I will absolutely fight tooth and nail for our children's right to be taught facts and evidence and not ideology.
Can't wait to see you do it, Jacinta. But 2 quick points I want to try and squeeze in. The artist Ken Doan has put out some new designs for a revised or a new Australian flag. I don't know if you've had a chance to have much of a look at them. Some of them use, of course, the Southern Cross. There's a bit of a kangaroo. There's a bit of a play, of course, on the Indigenous design. Where are you on this debate? Should we unite behind a new flag?
Oh, look, I guess I'm not here or there. I mean, I'm actually quite attached to the current flag. I think, yes, we've got the Union Jack in there, but that's part of our history as well. I don't see a problem with our flag as it stands. I'm a huge fan of Ken Doan as well. But, I guess it would have to go to the Australian people. But personally, I don't see an issue with our current flag. And perhaps, the Union... not the Union Jack, the constellation, the Southern Cross, that's the one. Constellation belongs to us all. Maybe colour them in or something with the the red, black and yellow or something like that to be a little bit more inclusive. But I don't really think it needs to change personally.
Yeah. I don't think it needs to. I don't think it's going to. I'm a big fan of the Aboriginal flag. If they wanted to share that, I'd be all on board with that. But I know a lot of people on both sides of the debate would want to kill me for that suggestion. Just quickly, I wanted to find out, you don't have to name names if you don't want to, but I'm interested to know whether any of the Indigenous politicians on the other side of the political fence congratulated you on your pre-selection victory.
Oh, look, no one has come forward yet and congratulated me. However, I did hear from one particular one who is going to run in the up and coming election in the Northern Territory for a lower house seat. Did hope that I was going to be pre-selected and did point out that she would like to ensure that we could work across some issues significant to Indigenous Australians. So if she gets across the line, well, I'd be happy to work with those on the other side for the benefit of marginalised Indigenous Australians. I think we've all got to come together for the benefit of everybody, most certainly, and particularly our most marginalised. So, yeah, look, I'm open to working with everybody as long as they're not yelling at people and having a go at them because of the colour of their skin.